If I told you today's episode stars Sam Neill, let's be honest, you'd be praying there's finally some weird homebrew 16-bit version of Possession, but we'll have to settle for one big pile of shit.
トンネルだスリップゾーンだおおスリルとスピード
Not that there's anything wrong with Jurassic Park the movie, but the game Sega put out is very wrong indeed. So prior to this, I was really leaning in on some more obscure Master System stuff, so I thought I'd head in the opposite direction and get something a little more mainstream, and it turns out my mid-90s memories were hella foggy. Given how shit this is, you could easily pass this off as an adaptation of one of the Chris Pratt movies. Starting with a particularly overused Sega logo, you're greeted with a pretty D-Spark gate in that pseudo-upscaled 8-bit stereotypical mid-90s Sega style. You can play as Dr. Grant or a raptor, honestly an inspired decision, and then it's downhill from there. Any sense of wonder or tension the movie had is fast-forwarded to the power outage. You don't even see the lawyer getting his shit ruined. As the raptor, you chew your way through your vanity license plate and insert plot here. Video games from this time period as well as society in 2021 both have a habit of rendering humans obsolete. It sucks to play as a human in the Alien vs. Predator games, and sure as hell playing as the raptor feels like living a charmed life. I'm just slapping buttons and accidentally kicking ass. I have to admit it feels good. The scrolls between levels imply you're pursuing Grant, but I managed to catch up to him and nothing happens. What the hell? You know what? Maybe I'm too biased. Maybe I should let one of the game's demos speak for itself. It pains me to think this was from the same company that made Shadowrun a few years later, but I guess they got exponentially better in that time. To be fair, if I were given Spielberg money to make a game, it's all going up my nose, so congrats to them for taking the high road and getting across the finish line. Because without this kind of success, that Shadowrun game probably wouldn't have been bankrolled. In conclusion, unless you work at Hills and the Genesis kiosk is the only thing keeping you sane, skip it. Up next, it's... What's weird is an earlier capture I'd made of this game, one where I forgot to switch on the Elgato's audio, made this seem kind of reasonable, a little smoother, a little faster, but recapturing it again for this episode, this fucking thing is cursed. Grant rides a Gallimimus in this particular stage, and you can really haul ass, but you get punished from every fucking angle and it takes the fun out of running, which was clearly the point, otherwise you wouldn't be on a dinosaur that spent its entire screen time running. A raptor level plops you in a tree, in a level almost similar to the first one in the first game, except hit detection is way worse and there are so many clashing greens and browns you can't figure out shit. Is this a bald-faced cash grab? Yeah. Considering the magazine Mean Machines flat out said Sega was, quote, hoping to rake in wads of cash on the back of the smash hit movie's video release, end quote, I think it's pretty obvious. They also went on a ramble about similarities to the Master System 007 game, but I can't speak to that. The graphics are admittedly brighter and more appealing in places this time around, probably thanks to changing lead artists, but the stiff control from the first game is back. Is it too much to ask for Grant to keep running while firing, or for him to grab onto ladders in midair? It's the same thing Alien 3 did, and the 8-bit versions of that were better too. I'm really super paranoid someone from Blue Sky will stumble across this video and freak the fuck out, but I promise Shadowrun's getting its own video eventually. To be honest, I'll probably replay the whole damn thing because it's worth it, but we'll get there when we get there. Not only that, but it turns out there was very little staff overlap between the two Jurassic Park games, let alone those in Shadowrun, which explains a lot. However, fret not, Dino fans, your story has a happy ending. Let's pivot to Game Gear. Okay, so it's 1993, you're handed a massive license, and yet you're assigned an 8-bit game that only comes out in Europe, Brazil, and on the Game Gear. Chances are the people higher up are more concerned with the 16-bit shit, so what do? Make whatever game you want and have fun doing it. The end result is the Game Gear version of Jurassic Park pissed all over its elder siblings. That includes the Master System version, which doesn't handle quite as well. According to this story, I guess they keep flying people in specifically to be eaten? Each stage starts with a Jeep sequence where the object appears to be to keep your health maxed out till the end. Once or twice I let it drain completely and the stage would just end like I finished it. Odd. You'll get a lot of like pteranodons or whatever trying to like dart at you and drop rocks on you, and if you're lucky you can shoot the rock away or shoot the bird away. I mean, I guess it's not a bird, I guess that's a dinosaur. I don't know. Never mind. From there it switches to a competent side-scroller. To be honest, the Pteranodon stage kinda grazes up against Wizards and Warriors territory if you compare that game's tree segments to the caves here. Oh, I guess Jurassic Park has its own cryptocurrency. I know it sounds stupid, but I swear the music almost seems like it's in the Ninja Gaiden range at times, if not a lower-end Mega Man vibe. And the background here reminds me of Simon's Quest, if not Friday the 13th at least. I thought it odd that the weapons don't have limited ammo, but when you consider you're up against a real pain pig at the end of each level, and your own health bar is so modest, I guess it evens out. Lava's another one of those things people take liberties on with this movie. Oddly, the Velociraptor doesn't put up as much of a fight as the damn Pteranodon. It's kinda neat how they went with a conservationist angle with the weaponry. Dinosaurs either retreat or pass out after being defeated, but when you realize this was the mid-90s and insert political joke here, it makes more sense. This stage and the constantly blowing trees really impressed me, especially since this is a Game Gear game and, well, you heard what I thought of the other Sega Jurassic Park games. Naturally, the raptor is a pushover and the plant eater is brutal, but whatever. This stage starts out with an unintentional homage to Metrocross. I feel like I'm not hyping this up enough, but honestly I think the internet has taught us all to bitch more, so maybe silence is golden in this case. This game's fairly prevalent, so you can and should pick it up real cheap. I want to tip the scales a little further in the direction of games I love, so up next it's R-Type. There's a lot of whinging over the Master System port's flicker problem, and as someone who is mainlining 8-bit games since 1989, I look at it this way. It's like dating a cute girl with weird teeth. You might not be into it, but to me, she's perfect. Straight off, the FM soundtrack is leaps and bounds over the normal stuff. Hopefully you have a way of switching that on. For those of you with no knowledge of R-Type, and honestly I'm speaking to you to encourage you to become more familiar, the object in front of you, or option in Gradius speak, is the Force. Good thing that name was never used before. It feels like since that thing is permanent, they can ratchet up the action accordingly. You also have the option, no relation, of charging up your basic weapon or finding one of the 3 capsules that upgrade your firepower. Blue for 45-degree lasers, red for wide circular fire, and yellow which splits upward and downward. There are missiles in addition to that, and options. There's a biotech vibe to a lot of this, like for example the first 2 bosses. Okay, the flicker goes wild here, but there are instances where all you gotta do is just stop shooting and let the game catch up. One of the things that made people fall in love with R-Type is the 3rd stage. All it is you whittling down a giant warship piece by piece. Hunks of the hull fall off, guns are destroyed, and eventually you can aim right at the heart and really bitch the fucker up. Something that rules about the Master System version is, on the 4th stage, easily the most annoying, you can ram this wall backwards and instead of croaking, you go to an exclusive new secret level. To be honest, all it does is make more work for you, but it's still a nice bonus anyway. The best compliment I can give this is, you find yourself wanting to keep playing every time you die, even if you have to start over. It takes a moment or two, but the overall fun of the game burns away the frustration of beginning again. If you have a Master System or a Mega SG, this game is a required purchase. I'm kind of a sucker for Game Boy Color crap, and even that port, which contains the sequel, can't compare to this. Is it the best version of R-Type? To me, yeah. It's literally the Master System game I've played the most. It fits like a fucking glove. Plus, you get more stage than the arcade version had. Come on. That's all I got this time around. Ideally, you could hit subscribe and just turn off the notifications, and not only would your phone not yell at you every time I put up a new video, but I can still benefit from it. I'm not big on begging, so that's all you get. Later.